Oh, oh God. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Gapesty here. This is the normal healer guide for Garrosh Hellscream. And this video should assist healing players with all the basics they need to know about getting through this fight successfully. So let's get started. So for the first phase of the fight, the main thing for healers to be concerned with is pretty heavy tank damage, especially when the adds come out. There will be 6 Warbringers, and typically these will all attack the same tank, which means that tank in particular is going to take heavy damage. In addition to that, there will be spawns of these desecrated weapons. When these spawn, they'll target a random ranged member, including healers. So it's a good idea to try to be along the sides of the wall or far away from the raid so that when these weapons land, they do not hit anyone and cause, the raid to have to be forced to move, essentially. So that's the basic mechanics for phase 1 for healing. Keep the tanks topped off, especially the add tank. Watch for desecration timer, and when it's about to come out, move off to the side or against the wall so that in case it targets you, it won't destroy anyone else, and you can just run out of it. Now for phase 2, once your group is ported into a corrupted realm, as you see here, the best thing to do is to split the group up into roughly equal sizes. So group 1 of 5 players has a healer or 2, and group 2 has the same. That way, when you're forced to split your raid, as you will have to do at some of these corrupted realm segments, you always have a healer on each section. From there, help the DPS by running through this realm, killing off all the Shah that are spawned on the sides. Once all the Shah are dead, Garrosh will activate, and you have to finish out your total of a minute within this realm fighting against Garrosh. Now, his main ability here is just Annihilate, and he'll chain cast this over and over. If you get hit by the cone, you'll die in one shot. But everyone else will take about 350,000 shadow damage while this is going off. And this is a lot of raid DPS, one of the highest incoming damage portions of the fight overall. So use your heal cooldowns and your raid cooldowns. Keep everyone in melee range. Use smart heals and anything you can, because this is where most of the sort of burst raid damage is going to occur on this fight. So beyond the corrupted realm part of phase 2, you'll spend most of your time in the throne room during phase 2. And there are 3 main abilities. The first is Desecrate, which works just like it did in the first phase. So just make sure against the wall or out to the side, far enough away, that if this targets you, you can keep it away from the rest of the raid. And the other 2 abilities are a Charm, which doesn't really affect healers all that much directly, but the main ability is Whirling Corruption, which you see here. So when this is cast, the entire raid should run out to a designated location 20 or 30 yards away, except for the current Garrosh tank. This will then cause a bunch of shadow damage to hit everyone, and as a healer, you need to, again, use any cooldowns you might have for this period. Otherwise, just do efficient AE heals around your vicinity, since that's where the raid will be. Once that's over, everyone can move back close to the boss and proceed with the rest of the phase. Now the charms, as I said, they don't directly affect a healer other than the fact that you can be charmed just like anyone else. So make sure you're close to the raid group when these are coming out. But for the most part, you just want to heal players up after the charm is broken on them, because they'll be under 20% health at that point. Now, the most important thing to happen in phase 2 is once the boss reaches 25 plus corruption or energy, the Whirling Corruption casts will be empowered versions now. Empowered Whirling Corruption works just like it did before, where everyone runs out 20 plus yards away, kind of the same side. But in addition to that, there'll be these purple explosion marks under random raid members, which you can see there. After a moment, a minion of Yasarj will spawn from those locations, and these will attack players just like random mobs would. Now, when these die, they buff other minions around them, increase the damage that they deal by 200%, and they will partially heal those minions as well. So the best thing you can do is to really focus your heals on the tanks in particular that are tanking any of these minions, because once a few minions die, the remaining minions are going to do tons of damage. But before that occurs, once you move out for the Whirling Corruption, again, use cooldowns, massive AE heals on the raid, and when the purple's explosions start to appear, you're going to have to sidestep them because they do damage if you get touched. So here you can see the corruption spawning again, and we're all kind of moving around, doing my best to heal everyone. And once they're all active, then you can stay stationary a bit and start to spam heals again. So phase 3 begins when Garrosh hits 10% once again in phase 2, and he'll go back up to 30% health, and he will gain full corruption, which means all of his normal abilities from phase 2 are the corrupted versions. So a few of these are used to the corrupted version already, like the Charm and the Whirling Corruption, but Desecrate is now corrupted, which just means it cannot be killed essentially. And the tank debuff is also corrupted, which means tanks are going to take tons of damage in this phase. But that said, this phase is pretty much a burn period. So as a healer, just do your best to do what you were doing in phase 2, keeping everyone topped off, watching tank damage, controlling minions, desecrated weapons, all that good stuff, running out for worlds. But the tanks are going to take extra damage because the corrupted dot that gets placed on them will explode when it expires. So you just really have to watch for that and make sure you get your tanks to use cooldowns when that dot is about to run out during phase 3. Otherwise, burn the boss down. You can kill the minions as normal, or you can just ignore them like we did here and burn the boss a little bit faster. It's up to you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's kind of a long fight. So healing's more about the overall ability to sustain rather than burst healing and all that good stuff. So that is the normal healer guide for Garrosh Hellscream. As always, good luck and thanks for watching.